I've got my first green arrow with a no Haaland project. Despite most of the FPL content creators having a pretty rough week this time around, I've got a pretty okay week, considering that I do not own Erling Haaland. I've got 44 points and I've gone around 800k places up the rankings, and I'm at around 1.9, which is a pretty good overall rank considering I was 2.7 last week. I made one transfer and it was for my goalkeeper. And oh boy, it paid out. Johnston got a pretty good game, 2 bonus points, made 5 saves. It's a little bit disappointing that he didn't do one more for 1 extra point, but 9 points, it's pretty enough for him. I did not own Haaland, and this was the scariest game week not to own him, especially when Manchester City beat up 6-1 Bournemouth, and Erling Haaland played only 45 minutes and didn't score more than 1 point, which was pretty good for me. Alvarez as well, 2 pointer for him, which was a little bit disappointing, but considering how lucky I got that Haaland didn't return, I do not care about Alvarez not getting the points. The issue with my team where they didn't get the points were Salah and Trent. I expected a lot of points from them, especially from Salah. He was my captain, but at the end he got 2 points, and that led to 4 points as my captain, which was pretty disappointing, I have to admit, but it is what it is. It happens sometimes. I believe the next time around against Brentford he will do perfectly fine. Liverpool conceded the goal, which was a tricky goal to concede because if Darwin scored at least one of his 2 chances, Liverpool would have won at least 3-0, but it's the Prem, everything can happen, and the end result was 1-1. Trippier once again, Newcastle won 1-0, and he got 3 bonus points without making anything offensively. So that's a good thing that I own him. 9 points from him. Match cash 0 points. He conceded 2 goals and left before the 60th minute with a minor injury. But now he looks like he is alright to play in the European League. So yeah, he is going to be alright for the weekend. Bowen scored the goal, his regular away goal. 7 points from him. Pretty delighted with the return. Saka 2 pointer against Newcastle. I was fine with that. Mitoma 6 points. Pretty good from him. They didn't beat Everton, but at least he assisted the goal. It was an own goal, but he got the assist, got the bonus points. Everything is good considering. And Madison is one of the disappointments of the week. Spurs were pretty disappointing against Chelsea and he limped off just before halftime, so that's a little bit worrying, but it is what it is. We have to monitor if he's going to be alright. If he is only out for one game week, I'll most probably bench him for Archer, but if he is going to be absent for more than 1 week, I will be planning a transfer to bring in someone else because I have the money. But let's talk about transfers in the next section. Wrapping up the team is Oli Watkins, 2 pointer for him. Aston Villa were pretty disappointing against Nottingham Forest, and I have to admit that I was not happy to own any Villa players, but at home is their strength, and next week they have a home fixture, so everything will be returning to normal, at least in my opinion. The biggest disappointment is Archer got 9 points on the bench, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my attackers returning less points, so considering that I've got so little points, 7 more points or 8 coming off for Madison would have been great, but it is what it is. You cannot get the team every week right, and I didn't expect Archer to be as good as he was against Wolves. So yeah, 9 points on the bench. It is what it is. 1.9 rank, 44 points. I was way above average with the average being so low. Son didn't return, Haaland didn't return, so I was pretty safe from those threats around my rank. So yeah, I'm pretty good and confident for game week 12, and now let's go and see how my lineup is looking for the upcoming game week. Going into game week 12, I have not made any transfers yet. I have 0.9 in the bank, so I have a little bit of capability to swap some players. I will be monitoring up until the end, and most probably will do the transfers at my deadline stream. Yeah, I'm returning for a deadline stream, so stay tuned for that on Saturday. In goal, I'm remaining with Johnston. He's having a home fixture against Everton. Everton may have won several points in the last couple of game weeks, but I believe against Crystal Palace that will have to end. Johnston, in my opinion, will keep a clean sheet, and that clean sheet will bring me more points. I have been pretty unlucky with the goalkeepers in the first 7 to 8 game weeks, but after that, it was clean sheet after clean sheet, so I pretty feel confident about my goalkeeper situation. I made the right choice when I transferred in Johnston. Flecken got injured. Turner is no more playing as a starter now. Vahodimus is starting in the Nottingham Forest goal. So making that transfers was just on time, and I'm happy that I brought in Johnston. He is a pretty solid keeper, and he has a pretty favorable fixtures in the upcoming game week, so he is going nowhere. Maybe when the fixtures turn for the worse, I will look for another goalkeeper, but for the time being, Johnston remains in the side. If I sometimes have a spare transfer, I may transfer out Turner and bring in Areola, but for now I'm pretty delighted with Johnston, so I'm not doing anything stupid there, and I'm not wasting a transfer on a backup goalkeeper, as I'm having Johnston for the next couple of game weeks coming onto the field with a pretty solid Crystal Palace defense, especially against weaker oppositions. They tend to do pretty well, so I believe Johnston is the right choice to go in my goal, and I don't fancy anyone else much more than him. So yeah, not even Alisson, Ederson, or etc. Yeah, Johnston remains in the side. Home fixture against Everton, I'm hoping for another 9-pointer. In defense, there is nothing I'll be making in terms of transfers or rotations. Estupiñán is having a home fixture against Sheffield United, but there are no solid news about his condition and when he is going to be back onto the field. So for now, he remains on the bench. Trippier against Bournemouth is the best fixture for Trippier to make some attacking returns now he has joined my side. I know that Bournemouth will need points, but I believe that they're not going to get them against Newcastle. So yeah, another 9-pointer maybe, even more for Trippier coming. We have to wait and see. Trent, I'm finally hoping to get some good points from his attacking contributions, and the home fixture against Brentford is a pretty good start for him. They're going to play 5 men at the back Brentford, that's for sure, and for what it's worth, Trent can unlock such defenses with some cheeky ball from cross or a long shot. He almost did against Luton, but Darwin just missed his chances, and it was a little bit unlucky for Trent not to get any returns, but I believe that luck is going to turn around, and finally Trent is going to prove his price point. When the fixtures turn for the worse for Liverpool, I'm going to transfer out Trent for sure, but for now he remains in the side. And Matty Cash, if I see him being fit in the European League, and then Unai Emery says that he's going to play against Fulham at home, Cash will remain into the side. If he is rumored to be missing a game, I am most probably going to transfer him out. Yeah, they have a okay fixture in game week 13, but after that it's a little bit of a rougher fixture run. So I will be trying to avoid owning much cash for the time being at that point. I hope Estupiñán is feeling better for game week 13 and onwards, but for game week 12 I need a player. I'm considering highly bringing in Lascelles for Riley, because Lascelles is going to play every game week right now. Burn is injured, Botman is out, Dummett is out, so there isn't basically anyone who can replace him in center back's position. And I believe owning 2 Newcastle defenders is alright. So yeah, if Matty Cash is not available for that game week, I will transfer out Riley and bring in Lascelles. I know a lot of players are mentioning Livramento. Yeah, he's a great option, but first of all, his minutes are not reliable, and maybe his position on the left side is not his best. Maybe he can play better on the right, but I have to monitor the games. I'm not afraid to go triple up in defense for Newcastle, if I have to be honest. But for now, I'm remaining calm and I'm not picking Livramento. Lewis Hall is a great option for the left back position as well, and there can be a slight rotation there. So that's why I'm staying away from him. As mentioned, Estupiñán is the first option on my bench. I don't think that he's going to play against Sheffield United, but I'm not going to transfer him out. I haven't done it, and I'm not going to do it still. So yeah, Estupiñán remains at the side, and Riley is just a placeholder. I do not care who he plays against, but maybe I'll consider bringing someone instead of him just to have another option in defense, or for a midfielder. We have to see, but for now that remains for my defense. Now let's go and see how the midfield is looking, and I'll be pointing out what I'm planning to do with my simple transfer. Next up is my trusted midfield. I am not worried there at all. The only issue with that midfield is that Maddison might be injured, and I have to think of who to replace him, but we'll get into that in a minute. let's discuss Salah. There is not too much to discuss about him. He's going to be my captain for that game week. He's playing at home against Brentford. If he is fit, he's going to play 90 minutes. He's going to destroy Brentford, at least in my opinion, and he's going to bring me a lot of points. That's the verdict on him. Nothing too complicated there. Jared Bowen against Nottingham Forest. I believe that West Ham's fixture run is one of the better ones going forward, so picking up Bowen seems easy and okay. So yeah, at home against Nottingham after 3 or 4 games in a row where West Ham did not win. I believe it's time for them to win, and Bowen is going to be an integral part of that, and he is going to score the goals. Saka, a home fixture against Burnley. Once again, a pretty good fixture for the home team. Saka is a pretty solid player. He's ever present. He's playing pretty well, and I believe that he can return a lot of points, especially against Burnley. Brighton's fixtures are pretty good going forward, and Mitoma started returning once again, and I believe against Sheffield United he can do it once more, so there isn't a slight worry there about his form. Basically, those 4 midfielders going forward. Yeah, Salah has a Manchester City game in game week 13, but before and after that, it's a pretty good green run for Liverpool. Bowen a pretty good run. Saka has a tricky game against Brentford, but that's it. It's Wolves, Luton, and Burnley in the next 3 from 4. Mitoma against Sheffield, as already mentioned, pretty good. And the only worry here is Maddison. I have several options to go for replacement. Maybe bring in a second Arsenal midfielder. Maybe going for a third striker, for example, Darwin or Nketiah. Or maybe just saving the transfer for a future and just bringing another defender just to cover up Madison's injury, and if everything is all right with him, just play the Madison. I'll have to take into that consideration. It depends on how long Madison is out, because if he is out for a very long time, I believe that the Spurs team will struggle with the creation of chances, so I wouldn't jump on another Spurs player. I don't have the money for Son, he's 9.6, Madison is 7.9 for me. So that's 1.7. I had 0.9, so I'm a little bit short of the money. Maybe if I transfer someone out, but I don't intend to transfer someone else. So yeah, it won't be Son. It will be Madison for now. If he's out, I will take into consideration for how long and what I'm going to do, but for now he remains into the side. As already mentioned, Salah is my captain in the midfield department. I don't think Bruno is now on. Maybe he is an option for a couple of game weeks, but for now I'm staying away from the Manchester United boys. I just don't believe them in the long term. Maybe a short term. We have to see. We have to see how the week is evolving and what's the info from Postecoglou, so to know what to do with Madison. But for now, remains in the side. If you want to see what I do with my Madison transfer, jump on my deadline stream on Saturday. I will be discussing the transfer that I'm going to make and why I'm making it, and we will discuss all of the news around the teams. Stay tuned for that. But now let's jump and finish up the squad with my attacking lineup, and just to see how I'm going to prepare for future game weeks. Before jumping and explaining my striker force, if you enjoy the content so far, please subscribe to the channel, give a like to the video, round down a comment if you have any questions. I think my No Haaland project is doing alright. Let's see your thoughts in the comment section. But now let's discuss the forward line. I'm keeping Alvarez. I'm not transferring him out. I need a Manchester City player because they're the top team right now. I know they are conceding some goals. They are scoring goals from a lot of places on the field. Doku is doing pretty well. Maybe I'll consider Doku instead of Madison. We have to see, but for now, one thing is for sure. Alvarez is remaining into the side. Away fixture to Chelsea. That's good for Alvarez. I believe that he can open up that defense. Maybe I'll invest in Doku just for the hype. We have to see. But for now, Alvarez is going to be the solely member of the Manchester City team in my team. And Ollie Watkins against Fulham, I believe that he's going to score a lot of goals that game. The fluke against Nottingham Forest wasn't expected, but they are going to fight back for sure, as they are pretty close to the top 4, and the home fixture against Fulham is in the necessary part of the 3 points won. So yeah, Watkins against Fulham remains in the side, and the final guy here is Archer. He is most probably going to be a replacement for Madison. we have to consider everything related to the press conferences, how long he's going to be out. If I bring in Doku, he's going to have a pretty tough run of fixtures: Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool, to name some of them. So yeah, we have to see how we're going to do that. But maybe I will spice a little bit the things and just believe in City, as they are destroying basically anyone every time whenever they play away or at home, especially at home. So yeah, I will have to think about that, but for now no transfer is invested. Archer is going to be the replacement. I have several players ready to join for Madison or maybe for Riley, just to bring in a little bit more of a interesting player to say. But for now the team remains like that. As already mentioned, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 600 subscribers. I'll be pretty happy if I reach that before the end of the year, as that would make me grow massively in the last couple of months. If not, I'm just here to provide good content for you. Tune in for the deadline stream on Saturday. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.